The last rays of sunlight sparkled on the calm water of Jun's pool. He sat on the edge, his feet dangling in the cool water. His small cabin stood behind him, nestled among tall pine trees. This quiet place, 2 hours from Seattle, was his escape from the world. Jun worked on his laptop from this remote spot. He liked being alone. The events of the past 3 years had made many people afraid, but Jun found peace in this isolation. 3 years ago, the Aquarians came to Earth. They arrived in ships that looked like giant water droplets landing in the oceans. The world had changed overnight. Humans were not alone in the universe. The Aquarians were people who could live both in water and on land. They had blue-green skin that shimmered in the light. They had gills on their necks but could also breathe air. They came from a planet covered mostly in water. At first, there was fear. Some people wanted to fight the aliens. Others wanted to welcome them. After many meetings between world leaders and the Aquarian chiefs, peace was made. Now, Aquarians could be seen in major cities, though they were still rare in remote areas like where Jun lived. Jun closed his laptop and stretched. The sun had set, and stars began to appear in the darkening sky. His work was done for the day. He stood up and pulled off his t-shirt. A swim would feel good before bed. He dove into the pool, feeling the cool water embrace him. Jun was a good swimmer. He moved through the water with strong, smooth strokes. After a few laps, he floated on his back, looking up at the stars. That's when he felt it. Something moved in the water beneath him. Something big. Jun's heart jumped. Bears sometimes came down from the mountains, but they didn't usually go into pools. Could it be a deer that fell in? Or maybe a large fish somehow got in when he cleaned the filters. He flipped over and peered into the water. The pool lights were on, giving everything an eerie blue glow. At first, he saw nothing. Then, a shadow moved at the bottom of the pool. Jun swam to the edge and quickly pulled himself out. Water dripped from his body as he stood looking down into the pool. The shadow moved again, and this time Jun could see it better. It wasn't a bear or a deer or a fish. It was a person. Or at least it looked like a person. "Hello," Jun called out, his voice shaky. "Is someone there?" The figure at the bottom of the pool seemed to hesitate. Then, in one quick motion, it swam up to the surface. Jun stepped back as a head broke through the water. His eyes widened. It was an Aquarian. The alien looked at him with large, dark eyes that reflected the pool lights. Her skin was a beautiful blue-green color, with patches that glowed slightly in the dark. She had long, flowing hair that looked like seaweed, dark green with streaks of blue. Gills fluttered gently on the sides of her neck. "Please," she said, her voice soft, and with a strange accent. "Please do not be afraid." Jun couldn't believe what he was seeing. An Aquarian, here in his pool. The nearest city with Aquarian visitors was hours away. "Who are you?" he asked. "What are you doing in my pool?" The Aquarian moved closer to the edge, but stayed in the water. "My name is Hannah," she said. "I need help. I was separated from my research team. I saw your pool and then..." She paused, looking embarrassed. "I needed water. I was drying out." Jun didn't know what to do. Should he call someone? The police? The Alien Relations Office in Seattle? "I won't harm you," Hannah said, as if reading his thoughts. "I just need a place to stay until I can contact my team." She raised her hand from the water, showing a small device strapped to her wrist. "My communicator was damaged. I need time to fix it." The night was quiet around them. Jun looked at the strange visitor in his pool and made a decision that would change his life forever. "You can stay," he said. "For now." Morning light filtered through the trees as Jun stepped out onto his deck with a cup of coffee. He had slept poorly, wondering if the strange encounter had been a dream. But as he looked at his pool, he saw her. Hannah was floating just below the surface. Her eyes were closed, and her blue-green skin seemed to catch the sunlight, sending small rainbows across the water. Her gill-like structures on her neck opened and closed slowly. June set his coffee down and walked to the edge of the pool. "Hello," he called. Hannah's eyes opened. She swam up and broke the surface of the water. "Good morning," she said. She pushed her long, seaweed-like hair back from her face. "Thank you for letting me stay." June nodded, still not sure if he had made the right choice. "You said you're a scientist." "Yes," Hannah replied. She moved to the edge of the pool and rested her arms on the side. "My team and I study Earth's freshwater. We are interested in how it differs from the water on our world." "And you got separated from them, how?" June asked, crossing his arms. Hannah looked down. "We were studying a lake not far from here. I swam away to check something interesting, and when I returned, they were gone." She touched the device on her wrist. "My translator works, but the communicator part is broken. I cannot call them." June frowned. "I could drive you to the nearest town. They might have ways to contact your people." "No," Hannah said quickly. Then, more calmly, "No, thank you. My team will look for me. They will check all nearby water sources. They will find me if I stay here." June wasn't convinced, but he didn't want to argue. "I need to work today. You can stay in the pool, but please don't make noise." Hannah smiled. Her teeth were slightly pointed, which June found unsettling. "I will be quiet. Might I have something to eat?" June hadn't thought about that. "What do you eat?" "Many of the same things humans eat," Hannah said. "But I prefer raw fish, algae, and seaweed if you have it." "I have some sushi in the fridge," June said. "I'll bring it out." Later, he watched in fascination as Hannah ate the sushi he had delivered from town the day before. She used her long, thin fingers to pick up the pieces, examining each one before putting it in her mouth. "This is good," she said, tasting a piece of salmon. "On my world, we have similar fish, but the taste is different." "Tell me about your world," Jun said, sitting at the edge of the pool with his feet in the water. Hannah's eyes brightened. "It is beautiful. Much more water than Earth. Our cities float on the surface and also exist deep below. We can breathe air, but we spend most of our time in water." She turned her arm to show Jun her skin. "See how my skin dries in the air. That is why I need to stay mostly in water." June noticed that her skin did look different where it had been exposed to air. It was duller, less shimmery. "Does it hurt?" he asked. "Not yet," Hannah said. "But if I stayed out too long, it would become painful." She slipped back fully into the water and did a quick spin. "Your pool is small but clean. Thank you." As the day went on, Jun tried to work but found himself looking out at the pool often. Hannah sometimes floated at the surface, sometimes swam in graceful patterns below. Once, she did something that made the water around her glow slightly. When June asked about it, she quickly said, "Just a natural reaction. My skin produces a substance that can sometimes make light." That night, as June prepared for bed, he stood at his window looking out at the pool. Hannah was swimming in slow circles, and the water around her glowed a soft blue. It was beautiful, but something about it made June uneasy. He closed his curtains and lay down, wondering what tomorrow would bring with his unusual guest. 3 days passed with Hannah living in June's pool. Each day, they talked more. June found himself sitting by the pool for hours, asking questions and sharing stories about Earth. "So all Aquarians can breathe both water and air?" June asked on the morning of the 4th day. He sat at the edge of the pool, eating breakfast. Hannah floated nearby, eating seaweed that June had bought from the store yesterday. "Yes," Hannah said. "Our ancestors lived only in water, but over time, we evolved to survive on land too." She lifted her hand from the water to show the thin webbing between her fingers. "We still prefer water. On land, we must carry special water packs to keep our skin wet." June nodded. "That's why you were scared when I found you. You were drying out." "Yes, I was far from my team's water supplies." She swam closer. May I ask you something about humans? Sure, June said. Why do you live alone, so far from others? Her large dark eyes studied him with curiosity. June looked away. I like being alone. It's peaceful. He didn't tell her about his breakup or how he had felt overwhelmed by the changes in the world after the Aquarians arrived. Aquarians rarely live alone, Hannah said. We live in groups in big underwater cities. Being alone is unusual for us. June changed the subject. How's your communicator coming along? Any luck fixing it? Hannah shook her head. The signal is too weak here. I need special parts. She looked sad. I have tried sending messages, but I don't think they are getting through. I could still drag you to town, June offered again. No, Hannah said quickly. It's better if I stay in water. The town is too dry, too many humans. Some humans don't like Aquarians. June couldn't argue with that. There had been problems between humans and Aquarians in some places. Not everyone welcomed the aliens. That afternoon, June played music on his outdoor speakers. Hannah listened with wonder as the sounds of classical piano filled the air. This is beautiful, she said, her eyes closed. We have music too, but it sounds different underwater. How does Aquarian music sound? June asked. Like this, Hannah said. She put her hands in the water and moved them in circles. The water began to vibrate, making low humming sounds that changed as she moved her hands. Soon, a strange melody filled the air, haunting and beautiful. June was amazed. That's incredible. How do you do that? Hannah smiled. We can feel water, control it in small ways. All Aquarians can do this. Later, as the sun began to set, June brought out his dinner to eat by the pool. He had made extra and offered some to Hannah. Would you like to try human-cooked food? He asked, showing her the plate of grilled fish and vegetables. Hannah climbed partly out of the pool, sitting on the edge with her legs still in the water. Her skin glistened in the fading light. June noticed that she could stay out of the water longer now than when she first arrived. This is good, she said after tasting the fish. The cooking changes the flavor in interesting ways. As they ate, June noticed something strange in the water. Small patches of glowing blue-green substance floated on the surface. What's that? He asked, pointing. Hannah looked nervous for a moment. Just some natural oils from my skin. It happens when I'm in the same water for a few days. June wasn't sure he believed her, but he didn't say anything. After dinner, Hannah asked to see more of human life. June showed her pictures on his phone. Cities, mountains, festivals, and family photos. Your world has so much variety, she said. So many different places and ways to live. As night fell, June went inside. From his window, he watched Hannah swimming in the dark. The water around her glowed brighter than before. She was doing something to his pool, but he couldn't tell what. For the first time, June felt afraid of his strange guest. 1 week had passed since June found Hannah in his pool. Things were changing, and not in ways that made June comfortable. The pool water had taken on a strange bluish glow that didn't fade even during the day. Small patches of what looked like glowing algae grew along the sides. When June asked about it, Hannah said it was normal. It's just my presence, she explained. The water adapts to me. But June wasn't sure. He noticed that Hannah spent more time underwater now. When they first met, she would talk with him for hours. Now she stayed at the bottom of the pool for long periods, only coming up when he called to her. That morning, June woke early and went to check on the pool. What he saw made him stop and stare. The entire pool was glowing bright blue. Strange plant-like growths had appeared overnight, covering one whole side of the pool. They looked like nothing June had ever seen on Earth, part coral, part plant, with small pulsing lights. Hannah, he called. She rose slowly from the bottom of the pool. Her eyes seemed different, larger, with a faint glow of their own. Good morning, June, she said, her voice sounding distant. What's happening to my pool? he asked, pointing at the strange growths. Hannah smiled. Just some helpful modifications. The water here is primitive. I'm making it better. Better. It looks like you're turning it into some alien swamp. June was upset now. You didn't ask permission to do this. Hannah's expression changed. For a moment, she looked angry. I need these changes. My body requires certain elements not found in your earth water. Then maybe it's time for you to find your team, June said firmly. It's been a week. Surely they must be looking for you by now. Hannah swam to the edge of the pool. I've tried contacting them. The signal is still too weak. She lifted her wrist to show her device. See. No connection. June frowned. Let me see that. He reached for her wrist device. What happened next shocked him. Hannah grabbed his arm with incredible strength. Her fingers felt like steel bands around his wrist. No, she said sharply. Then, seeing his surprised face, she let go and smiled. I'm sorry. Our technology is sensitive. Only Aquarians can use it. June rubbed his wrist where she had grabbed him. There were already bruises forming. That hurt. I'm sorry, Hannah said again. We are stronger in water than we look. Later that day, June tried to remove some of the strange growths from the side of the pool. He put on gloves and grabbed a pool net. As soon as he touched one of the plant-like structures, Hannah appeared at the surface. Stop, she shouted. Don't touch those. It's my pool, June said. I want these things gone. They are essential for me, Hannah said. Her voice was cold now. Remove them, and I cannot stay here. Maybe that would be for the best, June said. He was beginning to think letting her stay had been a mistake. That night, June couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Hannah's strange behavior and the changing pool. He decided to call his friend Da, who worked in the government office that handled alien relations. As he reached for his phone, he noticed something strange. No signal. His internet was down too. He always had perfect service at the cabin. June looked out the window at the pool. Hannah was floating in the center, her arms moving in slow patterns. The water around her pulsed with light. She was doing something, and June was now certain it wasn't good. He tried his laptop. No connection there either. He was cut off. For the first time, June felt truly afraid. He was alone in a remote cabin with an alien who was not what she claimed to be, and now he had no way to call for help. June woke early the next morning with a plan. He needed to drive to town and get help. No phone, no internet meant he had to leave. He dressed quickly and grabbed his car keys. As he stepped outside, he froze. His car was sitting in a puddle of water. The hood was open, and inside, parts were missing. Important parts. Hannah was floating in the pool, watching him with her large, now clearly glowing eyes. Going somewhere? She asked. Her voice had changed. It sounded deeper, with a strange echo. What did you do to my car? June asked, trying to stay calm. I can't let you leave yet, Hannah said. My work isn't finished. What work? June demanded. You said you were a scientist who got lost. Hannah laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. And you believe me. Humans are so easy to fool. June walked closer to the pool, careful to stay out of Hannah's reach. Tell me the truth. Who are you? What are you doing in my pool? Hannah rose higher in the water. She seemed taller now. Her body changed somehow. I am Hannah. That part is true. But I am not a simple scientist. She gestured to the glowing water around her. I am what your people might call a bioengineer. The best one on my world. And why are you here? June asked. Because they exiled me, Hannah said bitterly. My own people. They called my work too dangerous, too extreme. They couldn't see the future I was building. June looked at the strange growths in the pool. They were bigger now, some reaching up out of the water like alien trees. What kind of work? He asked, though he was afraid he knew the answer. I create new life forms, Hannah said, pride in her voice. Hybrid creatures that combine the best of different species. On my world, they stopped me. Said my creations broke laws of nature. Her eyes narrowed. So I came to Earth. Your planet is perfect. So much water, so many different life forms to study. And my pool? June asked. A perfect starting place. Remote. Private. I've been setting up my lab here. She touched one of the glowing growths. These are just the beginning. They help me change the water chemistry to support my real work. June felt sick. You've been lying to me from the start. Yes, Hannah admitted without shame. I needed time. Time to set up, time to begin my experiments. And you gave it to me. They'll come looking for you, June said. Your people must know you're here. Eventually, Hannah agreed. But by then, it will be too late. My new creations will already be growing, spreading through Earth's water systems. June took a step back. I won't let you do this. Hannah laughed again. How will you stop me? I control the water now. As if to prove her point, a stream of water rose from the pool, twisting in the air like a snake before splashing back down. Your Earth scientists know about our basic abilities, Hannah said, but they don't know what some of us can do. What I can do. June thought quickly. He needed to escape, to get help. But how? She had disabled his car and cut his communications. What happens to me? He asked. Hannah tilted her head, studying him. I have no wish to harm you, June. You have been kind. You may stay and watch my work. Perhaps you might even help me. Help you do what exactly? June asked, playing for time while his mind raced. Create a new ecosystem, Hannah said. One that will spread from this pool to your lakes, your rivers, and eventually your oceans. A perfect blend of Earth and aquarian life. My people will see I was right all along. June realized with horror what she was planning. Not just simple experiments. She wanted to change Earth's entire water system. And she was starting with his pool. That afternoon, June watched from his cabin window as Hannah's work accelerated. The pool was now unrecognizable. The blue glow had turned into a bright pulse that lit up the entire yard. The plant-like growths had doubled in size, some now reaching 6 feet above the water. But most disturbing were the new creatures June could see moving in the water. Small, fast-swimming things with too many fins. Larger blob-like forms that changed shape as they moved. None of them looked like anything from Earth. June knew he had to act. He searched his cabin for anything useful. In a drawer, he found an old radio that didn't need internet. Maybe he could call for help. As he worked on the radio, trying to find a signal, he heard a splash outside. He looked out to see Hannah emerging from the pool. She was different now. Her skin had changed, with new patterns that glowed in shifting colors. She seemed taller, her movements more fluid. Hannah walked around the edge of the pool, inspecting her creations. She could stay out of the water much longer now. June watched as she touched each of the strange plants, adjusting them slightly. Then she looked directly at the cabin, at his window. I know what you're doing, June. Her voice carried clearly across the yard. It won't work. Suddenly, water began to rise from the pool. Not just a small stream like before, but a massive wave. It hung in the air, defying gravity, then moved toward the cabin. It surrounded the entire building, creating a wall of water on all sides. June was trapped inside a bubble of air, with water all around. He could see Hannah through the liquid wall, her face distorted by the moving water. This is just a small demonstration. Her voice came through strangely. Do not test me further. The water fell back into the pool and the surrounding yard, leaving puddles everywhere. The message was clear. Hannah could control water in ways that went far beyond what humans had been told about aquarian abilities. That night, as June tried to think of a plan, he heard new sounds from the pool, splashing, but heavier than before. He peered out cautiously. In the glow of the transformed pool, he saw them. 3 new creatures, each the size of a large dog, climbing out of the water. They had sleek bodies like seals, but walked on four leg-like fins. Their heads had no eyes that June could see, but rows of sensing organs along the sides. They moved around the yard, seemingly exploring. Hannah floated in the center of the pool, watching her creations with pride. When she saw June at the window, she waved. "Beautiful, aren't they?" she called. "Just the first batch. Tomorrow they'll be twice as big." "What are they?" June shouted back. "Scouts," Hannah said. "They can live in water or on land. They'll find new water sources for my next creations." June realized with horror what this meant. The creatures would leave his property, find lakes or rivers, and spread whatever Hannah was creating. "You can't do this," he said. "You'll destroy Earth's ecosystems." "Not destroy," Hannah corrected. "Improve. Change. Earth water is inefficient. My new system will be better." One of the creatures approached June's cabin. It moved oddly, scenting the air with its strange head sensors. "Don't worry," Hannah called. "They won't hurt you unless I tell them to." The creature pressed against the door, testing its strength. The door shook. "Call it back," June shouted. Hannah made a strange clicking sound. The creature immediately returned to the pool, diving in with a splash. "See, perfect control," Hannah said. "I am their creator. They obey only me." June stepped back from the window. Things were getting worse by the hour. He needed a plan, and he needed it now, before Hannah's creations spread beyond his property and became unstoppable. June sat at his kitchen table, surrounded by tools and equipment. He had spent the night gathering everything useful he could find in his cabin. Now, as morning light filtered through the windows, he worked quickly. Hannah's power came from water. She controlled it somehow, maybe through some kind of energy field. If June could disrupt that field, he might have a chance. He remembered something from his college physics classes. Water molecules had a special structure. They could be affected by certain frequencies, if he could create the right kind of signal. June looked down at the device he was building. It wasn't much. Parts from his microwave, his old radio, and even his electric toothbrush. But it might work. Outside, Hannah's creations were growing larger. The strange plants now covered the entire pool area. The seal-like creatures had multiplied. June counted 7 of them now, patrolling the yard. Worse, he saw smaller, crab-like things crawling through the wet grass, hundreds of them. Hannah herself rarely came to the surface anymore. She stayed underwater, directing her growing army of creatures. When she did emerge, she looked less and less human. Her skin had changed color completely, now a deep blue with glowing patterns. Her hands had extra fingers. Her eyes were larger, completely black. June needed to test his device, but he couldn't let Hannah see what he was doing. He decided to try it on a small amount of water first. He filled a glass with tap water and pointed his makeshift device at it. He turned it on. Nothing happened at first. Then, slowly, the water in the glass began to vibrate. Tiny waves formed on the surface. "It works," June whispered. But would it work on a larger scale, and would it affect Hannah's control? He modified the device, making it stronger. This drained his battery supplies faster, but he didn't need it to last long. Just long enough. As June worked, he heard a sound at his door. One of the larger creatures was there, pushing against it. The door creaked. It wouldn't hold much longer. June quickly gathered his supplies and ran to the bathroom. It was the only room with no windows and a strong door. He locked himself inside just as he heard the front door break open. Heavy, wet footsteps moved through his cabin. The creatures were inside now. June worked faster, adding the final pieces to his device. He could hear the creatures sniffing at the bathroom door, making strange clicking sounds. Just as he finished, the bathroom door began to shake. The creatures were trying to get in. June turned on his device at full power. It hummed loudly. Outside, he heard a high-pitched scream. Hannah. The sound was followed by splashing and more screams. The creatures at the door stopped pushing. They made confused noises, and then retreated. June cautiously opened the bathroom door. The creatures were gone. He moved to the front door and looked outside. The pool was in chaos. The water was churning violently. The strange plants were withering. The creatures were swooning in circles, bumping into each other. In the center of it all was Hannah. She was thrashing in the water, her control clearly broken. When she saw June, her eyes widened with rage. "What have you done?" she screamed. "Disrupted the molecular cohesion of the water," June said. "You can't control it if the molecules won't listen to you." Hannah lunged toward him, but halfway there, she fell back into the water, unable to maintain her direction. "It won't last," she hissed. "Your device will fail, and then I will show you no mercy." June knew she was right. His device wouldn't work forever. The batteries would die. But now he had a chance, a window of opportunity while Hannah's power was weakened. He needed to act quickly. June knew his device wouldn't last long. The batteries were already getting hot. He had maybe 30 minutes before they died. He ran to his bedroom and grabbed his emergency flare gun. Then he went to the kitchen and found a large container. He filled it with gasoline from his lawnmower. Outside, Hannah was still struggling in the pool. Her creatures moved slowly, confused without her control. The strange plants were shrinking back into the water. "Your human trick won't stop me for long," Hannah shouted when she saw him. Her voice sounded different, more like a gurgle than speech. "I know," June said, "but I don't need long." He put his device down carefully where it could still affect the pool. Then he started pouring gasoline around the edge of the pool. "What are you doing?" Hannah asked, her black eyes widening. "Making sure your creatures don't leave this place," June said. "Even if I can't stop you, I can contain you until help comes." "No one is coming," Hannah said. "No one knows you're here." June pulled out a small metal box from his pocket. It was a GPS emergency beacon he used for hiking. He pressed the button, and it began to blink. "This sends a signal that doesn't need phones or internet," he explained. "Search and rescue will come, and when they do, they'll bring others who will know how to deal with you." "They'll be too late," Hannah said. Suddenly, her body began to change. Parts of her turned clear, like water itself. "Your device affects the water, but not me. Not anymore." To June's horror, Hannah began to rise from the pool. Her lower body was transforming, becoming a column of water that still connected to the pool. "You don't know everything about us," she said. "Some of us can become the water." She moved toward him, floating above the ground on her water column. June backed away, holding the flare gun. "Stay back," he warned. "Or what?" Hannah laughed. "You'll shoot me with that little toy. I am water now. You cannot hurt water." June aimed the flare gun, not at Hannah, but at the gasoline he had poured. "Water boils," he said. "Water evaporates." Hannah's eyes narrowed. "You would burn your own home. To stop you from changing my world." "Yes." June's hand was steady now. "Go back to the pool. Stay there until help arrives." Hannah moved closer. Her water column body rippled with anger. "I've worked too hard. Come too far." In a sudden movement, she lashed out with a water tentacle, knocking the flare gun from June's hand. It fell to the ground but didn't fire. June dove for it, but another water tentacle wrapped around his leg, pulling him back. He felt himself being dragged toward the pool. "My work will continue," Hannah said. "And you will help me, whether you want to or not." June grabbed at the grass, trying to stop himself. His fingers touched the flare gun. With one desperate move, he reached out and grabbed it. Hannah pulled him closer to the pool. Her face had changed completely now. She no longer looked even remotely human. Her mouth had widened, showing rows of sharp teeth. "My first human subject," she said. "Your DNA will make my next creatures even better." June aimed the flare gun at the gasoline trail and pulled the trigger. The flare shot out with a hiss, landing in the fuel. Fire erupted, racing around the pool in a circle of flame. Hannah screamed as the heat hit her water form. Steam rose from her body. The tentacle holding June weakened, and he pulled free. The fire spread quickly, surrounding the pool completely. Hannah retreated to the center, her body half water, half solid, writhing in pain. "You cannot win," she gasped. "My kind always survives." "Maybe," June said, "but not here. Not today." In the distance, he heard the sound of helicopters approaching. His emergency beacon had worked. Help was coming. But the fire was spreading toward the cabin now, and his device was beginning to smoke. Its batteries were failing. June watched as Hannah began to regain her strength in the center of the pool, protected from the fire by the water around her. This wasn't over yet. The helicopters grew louder. 2 black shapes appeared in the sky, moving fast toward June's cabin. As they got closer, he could see they weren't normal helicopters. They had strange equipment attached to their sides. June's device finally died with a small pop. The lights went out, and the humming stopped. In the pool, Hannah laughed. "Too late," she said. Her water form was growing stronger again. The fire around the pool was keeping her contained, but it wouldn't last much longer. The first helicopter hovered directly over the pool. A bright blue light shot down from it, hitting the water. The pool instantly began to freeze. Hannah screamed. No, not cold. Not ice. A second helicopter landed in the yard. Doors opened, and people in special suits jumped out. Some were human. Others were clearly Aquarians, wearing water packs on their backs. June fell to his knees, exhausted. A human officer ran to him. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Are you hurt?" June shook his head. "Just tired." She was going to change everything. The officer nodded. "We know. This isn't the first time Hannah has tried this, but it's the first time a human has managed to stop her long enough for us to arrive." The team moved to the pool. The Aquarians used special devices to complete the freezing process. Hannah was trapped in the ice, her partially transformed body frozen in place. "Who are you people?" June asked. "Joint Human Aquarian Security Force," the officer explained. "We track dangerous elements from both species. Hannah has been on our most wanted list for months." An Aquarian officer approached June. Unlike Hannah, he looked mostly human, with just a slight blue tint to his skin and small gills. "You have done our people a great service," he said. His voice was deep but kind. "Hannah is what we call a radical evolver. She believes our species should dominate all water-based planets, not coexist with their native life." "She said your people exiled her," June said. The Aquarian nodded. "For crimes against our ethics. Our people believe in harmony with water systems, not control and replacement." The team worked quickly. They extracted Hannah's frozen form from the pool and placed her in a special container. Other officers collected samples of her creatures, all now dead from the freezing. One officer used a device to scan the property. "No spread beyond this location," she reported. "We got here in time." June watched as they loaded everything onto the helicopters. "What about my home?" he asked, looking at his partially burned cabin. "We'll take care of it," the human officer said. "You'll be compensated for all damages, and there's a reward for helping capture Hannah." Later, as the cleanup continued, June sat on a rock watching the sunset. The Aquarian officer joined him. "How did you do it?" he asked. "How did you disrupt her water control?" June explained his makeshift device. The Aquarian looked impressed. "Simple physics," June said. "Water molecules can be affected by certain frequencies. I just had to find the right one." "Remarkable," the Aquarian said. "Our scientists use complex technology to achieve the same result. Yet you did it with, what did you call it? A microwave and toothbrush parts." June smiled for the first time in days. Human ingenuity. "Indeed," the Aquarian agreed. "That is why our peoples should work together, not against each other. Different approaches, different strengths." 6 months later, Jun stood in a large room at the Human Aquarian Cooperation Center in Seattle. His story had made him something of a hero. Now he worked as an advisor, helping both species understand each other better. On the wall of his new office was a frame. Inside was his makeshift device, the one he had built from household items. Below it was a simple plaque that read, "Sometimes the simplest solutions require the most creative minds." Jun often looked at it and thought about those terrifying days with Hana. He had learned that danger could come from the stars, but so could friendship and new understanding. Humanity had proven itself not through superior strength, but through creativity, determination, and the ability to find solutions where none seemed possible. In the vastness of space, these might be humanity's greatest strengths of all.